See how they're starting to bend more? When they were frozen, they definitely weren't bending. Thank you guys for watching. This is gonna be for people like me who are not really into cooking like that, who just know how to get around, who are basic and leveling up little by little, because I have a family which I like to serve and make a little bit different things for them. But I don't like to be crazy like with the chef stuff, and my wife does like these gourmet great dishes and meals, and she spends all this time looking up recipes and everything like that. That's just not me. My rule of thumb used to be, if it takes longer to make than it does to eat, then I probably shy away from it. I made some cool dishes, and I want to help you get pretty confident too, even if you're just starting off. So I like to keep it pretty simple. I'm not going to say this is for like a lazy person way to cook, because I don't believe in laziness, but let's just say an easier, more simplified, help you build confidence type of cook. People who don't really like to cook like that. But you want to eat. You want to eat some good, healthy food. You don't want to spend a lot of money on fast food, but you don't know how to cook and you don't know where to start. Hopefully this is for you, and that's what we're here to do today. I'm going to be making something simple and nutritious, nothing crazy. How do you make vegetables? How do you cook vegetables? And there's a healthy way to cook vegetables, and there's an unhealthy way to cook vegetables. Some people, you can just put it in a pot of water, boil all the water, and what can end up happening is the vegetables start to lose a lot of their nutrition, and that gets wasted in the water. You want that nutrition to go into your body. Otherwise, why are you eating vegetables? Why don't you just eat something else if you don't want the nutrition? But if you want the nutrition to remain in your vegetables, then you have to cook it in a way to where your nutrition is going to stay there. Microwaves, I don't really do microwaves like that because radiation and stuff. Yeah, I know I got a cell phone and all of that. But just radiation, and also I don't know if the vegetables, just the cooking process, I'm not sure about that. But I do believe in eating organic vegetables. You buy them frozen, and this is what we're going to be doing today. Green beans. For you guys who recognize Kirkland's signature, that is from Costco. Yep. Now you probably never really had samples of vegetables. I don't think they've done that before, but maybe they do. You let me know in the comments. But if they do like frozen vegetables and put those out there for samples, because probably wouldn't get a lot of people. Vegetables are obviously really good for you. A lot of people don't know how to cook them, but we're going to make it simple. So what you do is you buy some frozen vegetables. If you cannot afford organic, then at least get some vegetables, but you can find organic vegetables for a good price. Maybe like an Aldi or some grocery store around you. Just check. There might not be a bigger difference, but you can save organic for another video, or my wife talks about that. But organic is really beneficial because it has a lot of that stuff that's not getting in your body. So you just get a frozen bag of vegetables, or many, and let me show you what I like to do. So I don't boil them and knock out the nutrition, as well as I don't microwave them and things like that. Pardon some of that background. We're having some stuff done to the kitchen. So what you're going to want to do is you want to get a pot, okay? A large pot. Hopefully you have one. And you want to get a strainer or colander or whatever this is, okay? Has a lot of little holes in it because we want to boil the water. We want to boil it. Basically, I steam them. So we're going to go and steam these vegetables. We're going to have the water come through these holes and hit the vegetables. So, like I said, if you just use a pot, you put vegetables in there, you have to be very specific about when to take those vegetables out so that you don't mess around. And if you mess around and cook them, please excuse the background above the stove area. We were having some work done in our kitchen. Thanks for watching. And boil the vegetables, just boil water. You don't know how to boil the water, it's all good. Like, we got to start basic. We got to start from somewhere, okay? So we can talk about that as well. So if you just boil the water, for you guys that like to boil water and cook vegetables like that, leave them in too long, they're going to get soggy. They're going to lose their nutrition. Okay, I said that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to steam them. We're going to fill this up with a little bit of water, okay? Not too much, because if you put too much water in it, the water is going to take longer to boil, okay? Just logically. And you don't need that much water. I'm going to show you, okay? So we're going to put the frozen vegetables in here. Here we go. So if you don't know how to boil water, it's all good. Boiling water is water that's just super hot. Okay, you turn your stove on, you leave it on there. If there's water in the pot, eventually you're going to see bubbles going, and it's going to be steam coming from it, smoke, and that indicates, oh, that water's boiling, that water's hot enough, right? You don't want to stick your hand in there. And a lot of people are afraid of getting popped, so you got to be precautious when you're doing this. I'm gonna add some water and I'll show you how much. I've been doing this for a while, and so I gotta get an idea of how much water to put in here. So like I said, I've been doing this for a while, so I have a good idea of how much water needs to go in here. Like, it's not too much to where it'll take all day to boil and it's unnecessary water, but it's not too little, because what happens if you put too little water in here, it's going to, all the water is going to boil out and it's going to burn your pot, which I've done it before. So you want to have enough water in there. One thing I want to re-emphasize is, remember, this is about people who don't like to cook like that. And like I said, I don't want to say lazy, but are like, you don't want to put a lot of work into your cooking. Okay. That's where we're at right now. And that's okay. So one of those things is, I don't measure everything. Certain things I do measure. Today, vegetables, no, I'm not going to measure, because actually I don't even know how much water needs to go into the pot. It just like, put some in there and work on practicing, and just, you know, you peek on it every once in a while and just make sure that the water is not boiling out and your vegetables are still being cooked. Okay, you're gonna have to keep an eye on it first time doing it, for sure. But one of those like things to where like kind of cut into some corners, like some stuff I don't need to measure. And as people who've been doing stuff so long, they don't need to measure. Certain stuff I do need to measure, but not today. I'm gonna put the oven on high because I want it to boil fast. Okay, I don't want this waiting around and just taking the time. Water, there's no reason to wait when it comes to just boiling water. You're just trying to get it to boil as quickly as possible. Gonna turn this on high. Also, depending on what kind of stove you have, you might have one that's fire, which I can't really show you in this video, unfortunately. But you can look up how to light a gas stove if you have a gas stove. If you have something like this, or even the ones with the burners on top, electric stove, then you want to turn it on high. It should give you an indicator there. Yours might look different than mine. So there's low, medium, high, and different instructions of things that you use. It'll tell you which one what temperature to put it on. But this is pretty simple. Just turn it on high, like all the way up, and we're going to just let this cook. Now, for some reason, mine is not showing red here. It was earlier. I might have an issue with this. I gotta check. But when it shows red like that, right there, that means that it is activated and it's cooking. It does what it does. And see, we already got some steam coming from here. I think you can see that in the video. You see the steam, that means it's getting hot already. Now we just wait for it to boil. While that's doing that, what I didn't tell you is you want to make sure that you have a colander that's going to fit in there to where enough of the holes will be exposed to where it'll have room. For example, if I use this pot right here, see how that fits in there? It has less holes for the steam to go through, which means it'll take longer. So the more holes you have that can be put into the pot, you know, the faster it's going to be able to cook there. So essentially, the wider it is, or you can have a smaller colander. So if I had this pot and I had like a smaller strainer to put in here, then it will work, because I would be able to still take advantage of using this kind of tool. Sometimes I can get to the point to where I can put the vegetables in while it's boiling and leave it, but that's kind of advanced level. Right here, as you can see, there's a lot of steam coming up. So, oh, there goes the bubbles. Perfect time. So I'm not trying to drop my phone in here. It should be okay. See those bubbles? You see bubbles in the water? If you've came this far, you've successfully made boiling water. Great. Okay. So now we got the water boiling. We can do something with that. Boiling water, you can put things in there. You can steam it like we're gonna do. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put that on there like that. So we're ready for our vegetables. All I'm gonna do is gonna dump some of the vegetables in there. Might affect the temperature of the water in the beginning because we have the cold kind of ice or whatever, the vegetable sweat coming off of there, and it's getting into our water, so it might slow down the boil a little bit. But for the most part, we should be good. The water's going to be coming through the holes, and it's going to be cooking the vegetables. Now, it's not going to hit every single vegetable because these on top, okay? So what you have to do is you have to stir it up so that all of these vegetables get cooked. So as you go along, I know we're giving you a little bit more work, but as we go along, we're going to stir these vegetables. And the more vegetables you have on there, the more you have to stir it, the more time it's going to take until all the vegetables are finished. The less vegetables you have on, the less vegetables you have in there, the less time it's going to take, and the less you have to stir it up because the steam is able to hit more of the vegetables. So I don't like to cook a little bit of vegetables because a little bit of vegetables don't last long. I believe in leftovers. I also have kids who eat vegetables, and my wife, and all of us eat vegetables as well. So I need to be cooking a lot of vegetables at one time. Otherwise, I'm going to be having to do this. And the more often I do this, guess what? The more we have to wash the dishes. And we want to try to save that kind of time, because that's the reason why we don't spend a lot on cooking anyway. So I'm going to put a little bit more in, but don't worry about this amount. What I'm showing you will be, we're going to do the same steps. One thing you're going to need, I didn't tell you, is we need to get our lid. So the reason I'm grabbing the lid here is so that the heat is trapped so they cook faster. So you just kind of put it, so now you have like the heat is contained, so we're not losing a lot of our heat in the air. We want that to be compacted, not like a pressure cooker, but want it to be compacted so that we can make sure this is cooking faster and we have our heat there for us. I'm going to take this. It's easy to stir it up with because for this, you're not worried about having a big spoon so where you're shoveling out the green beans by accident, or string beans. I don't know why people don't call them string beans anymore. I like to call them string beans. That's what I grew up with calling them, but it's the same thing, green beans. But I use this so it's not anything that's going to threaten to knock my vegetables out. So what I'm going to do here, man, it's hard to do this behind the camera. Hold on, let me move here a little bit. And also, in the beginning, it's going to be harder to move around because these are not soft at all. They're hard because they've been frozen, okay? So since they're not soft at all, it's just gonna be more space they're taking up. When they're soft, you can compact things in a suitcase. Like when I pack my PlayStation, it's gonna be harder to maneuver that. Like if I had several game consoles or PlayStation, yes, I'm a gamer, so I'm gonna use that reference. Hopefully you guys can find that relatable. If I put my PlayStation in a case versus putting a few shirts in, the shirts I can maneuver around more. The PlayStation just kind of boom, it's gonna sit there. So the same thing as when it's frozen. When it's frozen, it's hard. And so the longer it cooks, the more I'm gonna be able to move these things around, and actually the less space they're gonna take up, so it won't be as high. It's a good thing to remember. So we are gonna season them. I do believe in seasoning. I didn't talk about that yet. Now, when it comes to seasoning, same thing. I keep it simple. My wife's not here, so I can't ask her what other things she could put in it. But basically, use salt. We use salt, like sea salt. So we're gonna sea salt this. I don't measure it. You gotta salt to flavor. Don't kill it. Okay, we're trying to stay healthy here, but you don't gotta put like too little of it to where if you're not used to tasting vegetables like that, you're not gonna vibe with the taste. Cooking this behind me, but I just want to talk to you for a minute. If you're not used to eating vegetables, then just pair it with something else. Okay, don't just be like, I'm just gonna cook vegetables and that's the only thing I'm gonna eat. Take a few vegetables with something else, like like your main dish. Vegetables can be a main dish. I don't want to say that it can't, or some rice or just something else. If you're not used to cooking vegetables, eat it with something else for now that you got that you would have ate anyway. Hey, usually I would eat this, but let me just add in some vegetables to this. Okay, so I can get used to it. You get used to it. I don't want to say used to it like it's a bad thing, but take it. I would also recommend start with your favorite vegetable. Start with, if you don't like green beans, maybe you like broccoli better, right? Start with that. Start eating more broccoli. Maybe you like corn. Is that a vegetable now? There's so many things that are just like, starch and stuff like that, but I think it's a vegetable still. Carrots. Okay, if you like carrots, but you don't like peas, start eating more peas. But you're going to want to mix with your flavors. You're going to want to mix with your different vegetables because they offer different nutrients. It's not like one vegetable can give you all your nutrients. So the more variety of vegetables you eat, the better it's going to be for you. So if you were to eat like, just make sure too you're eating something green. The greener it is, from what I understand, the healthier it is for you. So the blackberry sweeter juice kind of thing. So light kind of greens like the romaine lettuce and stuff is not going to be probably as beneficial as like a spinach or kale. You go ahead and research from that, but that's what I believe I remember, if I remember correctly. So make sure you're getting a variety of vegetables. Stick with the ones you like. Cook the ones that you like too, and you can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. Because what I tell you, I don't like to cook like that. Some things I like cooking easier if it's simpler. Like I said, if it doesn't take a huge amount of time, yes, vegetables, you got to sit there and wait. But what I mean is you're not working on the food for like longer than it takes you kind of to eat it. Like the ratios, with the ratios way off, I spent 3 hours actually prepping the food. Like I was baking it, I was cutting vegetables, I was seasoning, I was flipping, I was rolling, I was doing all of these things. But it takes me like 5 to 15 minutes to eat the dish, and then it's done. It's just like, oh man, all that work. You get the taste and you get what you wanted, but was it worth it? At what cost? Like the Thanos meme. At what cost? So that's not really me. So at least right now. So I just like to cook things. Let's get it done. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it to the point. So we can eat nutritiously, and we can save some money too, as well as just making sure that we're eating good food. And I like to make a lot of it at a time because, like I said, I'm good with leftovers and everything like that. Let's see how our food is doing. Okay. Now you notice how a lot of that frost is no longer on here. That's what we want. We know we're making progress. We're going to make sure we continue mixing this up. I can still feel a lot of it being frozen for the green beans. Now, when I'm cooking mixed vegetables, you can notice these big chunks of vegetables stuck together. And that's how you definitely know it's not cooked yet. It's not finished. This is going to still be a few more minutes. I can still feel how frozen it is. It's just hard. So you don't want to overcook it, because then you'll defeat the purpose of steaming it. It'll be like you just boiled it. Not to say you can't boil it. If you boil it, you just have to be very precise about when you take it out, like before it kind of melts in the water and takes your nutrients out. So that's why I like to steam. And I don't find it very difficult. I'm just moving this around just to make sure all the vegetables get touched by the steam, because things can't sit in the same spot. I'm going to let that rock again for a few minutes. How to tell if it's done? You want to get it to where it's starting to soften. It's not too hard, but it's not, but make sure it's cooked. So the best way to find out if it's done, you get a fork or you get something to take it out with, and you taste it to see if it's done. You don't want to get it to like, if it still feels frozen, especially cold in the middle, not done. If it's like, hey, this feels right, it's like just bending, it's not too soft, it's not too hard, but you don't want to wait till it gets too soft. I guess I'll just show you when it's done. Try to show you when it's done. All right, we still got it on the stove. So as I was saying, when it comes to cooking and stuff, you can start adding vegetables to what you're doing. So like, let's say you already know how to cook something else, okay? just start doing this and just start adding vegetables slowly. But like I said, pick like your favorite things. Pick the vegetables you like. Pick the vegetables you can eat. But the cool thing I like too about boiling it is I feel like you could do this with pretty much, I don't want to say every single vegetable, but a lot of the main ones. Okay, when it comes to the frozen vegetables, the mixed vegetables, ones that mixed all together. Corn. Oh yeah, corn is a vegetable because it's in the mixed vegetables. It has to be. Like some things confuse me, like the whole tomato thing and everything like that. But anyway, so mixed vegetables, broccoli, string beans. We're gonna call them string beans. You can do that with the carrots. Okay, you can steam carrots, get them nice and soft. Have I done that with spinach? Spinach is a little different when it comes to steaming, but it can be done. It's a little different. But also, all right, like I said, you just want to keep, ooh, a little water spilled out. You just want to keep moving these vegetables around. Still feels frozen to me. And also you're looking to spot and identify, ooh, let's burn my finger a little bit. Probably shouldn't be holding this like that. I should put it to the side. I'm gonna put that to the side. See, we learn as we go. I'm gonna hold this so I have some stability here. You should be able to see if there's frozen veg, because I can still see. Looks like some of them, or at least one of them, is still frozen. So I got to continue to move this around. I know that the prime spot is on the bottom where a lot of the holes are. That's probably where the hottest area is, where they're cooking. Ooh, man, gotta move that. Probably the biggest area where they're cooking. So we're gonna let that. It's almost done though, I think. But you can do it without the lid, but like I said, it just allows it to be hotter with the lid on top. It's been cooking for a while. Some of it was still frozen when I checked it. I want to zoom in a little bit here. Yeah. So now you can see a little bit more of the texture and everything like that. And it doesn't look like I can see any of them frozen. See how they're starting to bend more? When they were frozen, they definitely weren't bending. And we're kind of at that point to where I think they're pretty much there or almost there. I still feel like I can hear a little crunch in here, like that frozen type of crunch. But at the same time, we're at that point, almost at that point of no return, to where like these vegetables cook too long, it's just going to be too soft. So really, I would say you're probably, depending on like this amount of vegetables, maybe 10 to 15 minutes we've been working to try to get them at this point, which sounds like a long time. Maybe it is. But like, here's the thing. Like I said, with this, once you do it, you can kind of walk away from it because a lot of it is just boiling. You're not really doing a lot of work. You're coming here, you're stirring them, right? You're putting the lid back on. You're coming here, you're stirring them, putting the lid back on, okay? Maybe a fast video game, you could do this between rounds or something. Or you work out at home, you could come over here and do something with this. Or you get really good, you cook a bunch of simple stuff, then you could come back to this. It'll be just an add-on. You could do something else. Like I just cooked some pancakes today, which weren't difficult. I'll probably do that in another video, possibly. I don't want to guarantee anything. So at this point, we can go ahead and season. We don't have to wait until everything's done. I didn't want to do it too early because if the vegetables are still too frozen, the salt doesn't really stick to it like that. So I'm running out of sea salt, it looks like. So you want to season the taste, make sure you move it around. And sometimes you'll get a lot of salt on one string bean, or green bean, but if you move it around, that could spread and make a difference. So you want to make sure that you hit all of them and just move it around. Move this around. And like I said, you can do the same thing with broccoli. You can do the same thing with mixed vegetables. Whatever vegetable you're trying to steam, you can do it with that. You get a bag. And remember, the less vegetables, the faster it should cook. Well, it depends on, I guess, the size of your pot as well. Another thing you can use is, I think if we still have it, I can show you. That's probably be the last salt portion I'll put in here. But if you didn't want to use this metal one, I'm going to show you another thing you can use that makes it even faster. But there's a con to it, which we've discovered. So, all right, we're not too far from where I was just showing you guys, maybe a minute or two. So that looks done to me. You see how all of these are they're more flexible. They don't look too soggy. Still got a lot of their color in there. You don't want to boil the color out. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try one. Take this off. I don't want to stick my hand in all of this. That doesn't look like a good one to try. I'll try a couple of them. You, sir. How they're looking here. Show you how flexible they are. Those things are perfect. They got a crunch to them. Okay. Let me take it off. I'm going to remove this from the heat because I don't want it to continue cooking. Because see all of that? If you just turn the heat off, then continue cooking, they're going to get soft. You can see how it has some flex to it, but it's not like super flexible to where it's soft. You know, unfortunately, you ever been to those funerals or family reunions where the green beans are just like Sandman or something like that? You don't want them like that to where like they're melting. You want them crisp. And so with the green beans or any other kind of vegetable, you just want that. You still want it to be crisp, or like has a little crunch to it where you feel like you can bite it. It's not like pudding in your mouth. Ugh. Vegetables are overcooked. Okay, you don't want it to be like pudding. So I could feel that crunch with these vegetables. They're not too soft. I don't feel anything frozen. That's perfect. Oh, excuse me, guys. That's perfect. That's how it's supposed to be. One thing I forgot about, guys, if you don't want to use this type of colander I use, the big metal ones that has a few holes in it, compared to like something like this, the real strainer, I forgot about this. I should have showed you guys this. But the reason we don't use this, to be honest, in our family, we discovered nobody likes to clean it. I don't know, it's because ours is old and sometimes the vegetables can get stuck in here. Maybe mainly with the mixed vegetables. It probably would have been done better with the string beans. But I know that in the past, when we use this, it cooks fast because now with this one, which only has a few holes in it, so it only has a few spots that the steam can come through. This has like your whole thing is in the steam, right? So it's going to cook faster. I forgot to mention that, but I'm glad I'm saying it here so you know. You can use these type. As you can see, right? A lot of holes. More holes, the more steam is going to come through. You can still put a lid on it. Still do the exact same thing I'm doing in this video. But ours is just harder to clean. That's probably why we don't even think about it. But if I'm doing it, I could have used it. Maybe it's just some vegetables. That's it. Okay, guys, we did it. Congratulations. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. Like I said, if you don't like to cook like that, or it takes too much time and it's not really simple, I try to break it down to you because not everybody knows how to cook. Not everybody even knows how to boil water. Not everybody knows how to cook vegetables, right? It's not something that, and I don't want you to feel shame because of it. If you weren't taught, you weren't taught. if you didn't go out your way to learn it, you ain't go out your way to learn it. But now you're at a point in your life to where you have the opportunity, whether you're a teenager, you're in your 40s, 50s, doesn't matter. You can cook at home. Get some pots and pans, or go borrow your mom's pots and pans, or go get something. They're really not that expensive. Once you have them, you have them. You know, you pretty much pots and pans. I don't know if I've ever seen somebody throw out a pan. They get old and sometimes get black. And like, there's a certain point you should get rid of them, but I don't think I see it that often. So go ahead and get you a pot and pan and the necessary tools and items for this. And that's something, or you might already have it in your house. Somebody might have gifted you a set, or you might be living with somebody. Just go ahead, or if you're a guy like me and your wife has some, just go ahead, surprise her. Hey, look, I made some vegetables. Don't burn the house down though. That's not what you want to do, and say like, hey, this guy should. No. So I just wanted to show you guys a simple way to do it. How I do it. Just simple things, nothing too complicated. But it's cool because once you have the simple things like how to boil the water, how to stir things, what kind of tools do what, how long should I cook things, how to measure, then you could build off that. You might even love cooking. You might even love and become a chef. Who knows one day? But it just starts with a simple, and that's so you can be healthy. You know, you can save some money. You can know, hey, I know how to cook some stuff, and you can be confident in maybe a smaller menu, but at least you keep people surviving, and you keep people surviving decent. I know how to season a little bit, nothing too crazy, but enough to where like, hey, this is not bland. This has some taste, but it's not like my wife. My wife, I don't know where she gets it from. All of these seasons, she researches and follow these recipes, which sometimes I think they take too long to make. But I'm thankful for them. I don't complain when I'm eating them. I'm thankful because they taste delicious. And we can get to that point, you know, if we want to. So, but I don't know if I like to cook like that. So I do a little something, and I like being able to feed the kids when it's time to feed myself when I need to. So I'm not just relying on another person when she's busy and she has some stuff going on. So hopefully you can do that too. That's our vegetables for today. Check out more videos. God bless.